afternoon, families. It's Kathleen from the Bozeman Public Library in the Children's Room. I've got another story time for you, and I so love it when you guys see us and you tell us how much you like our story times. We'd love it if you would leave comments in the Facebook post that's linked to this video and let us know what you might like a story time on, or what you liked, maybe what you didn't like so much. We'd love to hear back from you. Well, since it's getting close to Halloween and since it's harvest time here in Bozeman, I thought it would be fun to do pumpkins. I don't know about you guys, but I love pumpkins. I love to grow them in my garden. I love pumpkin pie. I love carving pumpkins. It's a really fun time of the year with pumpkins. So let's think for a minute what we might already know about pumpkins. Well, let's think. They grow, what do they grow on? Do they grow above ground or below ground? Above, right? Do they come from a seed? Is there a life cycle? We've talked a lot about life cycles. Yep, there's a life cycle. Let's see. There's all different types of pumpkins. What else do we know? Oh, they take a long time to grow. And they take a long time to ripen. Well, let's learn a little bit more in our first book called From Seed to Pumpkin. I'm not going to read this whole thing because we have a lot of books to get through, but this is written by Wendy Peffer and illustrated by James Hale. Thanks to Scholastic for allowing us to read this to my friends. And we'll learn a little bit about the life cycle of a pumpkin. All right, here we go. When spring winds warm the earth, a farmer plants hundreds of pumpkin seeds. Every pumpkin seed can become a baby pumpkin plant. Underground, covered with dark, moist soil, the baby plants begin to grow. There's the seeds under the soil, and look at the roots. There's a little worm. As the plants get bigger, the seeds crack open and stems sprout up. Roots dig down. Inside the roots are tubes. Water travels up these tubes the way juice goes up a straw. You see it sprouting right there? It's going up. It's going to come out. Maybe that's our next page. In less than 2 weeks from planting, green shoots poke up through the earth. Can you see the green shoots? These shoots grow into tiny seedlings. 2 leaves called seed leaves uncurl on each stem. They reach up towards the sun. Oh, look at that. There's some sun and growing. I just wanted you guys to see how this works. The roots are underground, and the seed leaves need sunlight to create chlorophyll and grow, and our roots are sucking up water and nutrients. Takes a lot of things, and pretty soon this big leaf comes out. Now there's those 2 seed leaves, and they're prickly, maybe to keep predators like animals. I'm not really a predator, but someone who might eat it, like some animals. And then the plant gets bigger. There's those tubes again. That's the long vine. And look, if you look inside, it's hollow. That's so water can travel. There's the farmer. He's doing a little weeding in his garden. Oh, and pretty soon, these beautiful flowers appear. And these are tendrils. They hook around things to help the plant be stable. And these are what turns into the pumpkin. Oh, and during the day, the heat of the day, the flowers close, but at night they open. Look at that. See the little baby pumpkin forming right there? Oh, it's even better here. You can see the pumpkin. Now right there, that's where the flower hooked on. You can see the flower still there and there. And pumpkins start out green. Do you see the green pumpkin? And then they ripen as summer goes on. And they start to ripen very gradually from yellow to orange. And then look at all those pumpkins. Ah, what fun. Okay, I love this book, Too Many Pumpkins. It's another Scholastic book. This one, pictures and illustrations by written by Linda White, illustrated by Meg Lloyd. Thanks to Scholastic for letting us read this fun book. It's a little bit longer than our other books, but I think you'll enjoy the story. Here we go. All right, get a nice close for you guys. Every year at springtime, Rebecca Estelle planted just enough seeds in her garden to grow vegetables for the long winter. She planted carrots, beans, tomatoes, peas, corn, and rutabagas. She grew a little bit of everything except pumpkins. She does not want pumpkins, does she? Let's see. When she was a little girl, money had been scarce. That means there wasn't a lot of money. For an entire month, all there was to eat was pumpkin. Baked pumpkin, steamed pumpkin, boiled pumpkin, stewed pumpkin, mashed pumpkin, rotten pumpkin, breakfast pumpkin, lunch and dinner pumpkin. Enough with the pumpkins! When things finally improved and there was more money to buy food, Rebecca Estelle decided she would never eat pumpkins again. She didn't even want to look at pumpkins. So here she is in her house. It's what time of year? It's autumn. You can tell by the trees and the grasses are dry. Ooh, this is where it gets exciting. I want to show you this picture first. So here she is working in her garden, and what's coming down the road? Can you see what's in the back of that truck? Tons of pumpkins. Now, can you make a guess what might happen? Let's see. Okay, here we go. One autumn day, long after Rebecca Estelle's hair had turned snowy white, she was raking the leaves that fell each fall from her black walnut tree, and her cat Esmeralda was scattering them just as quickly. All of a sudden, the pumpkin truck passed by. Oh, she heard it coming, and she knew what it was. It rumbled by at harvest time every year. She turned her back and concentrated on picking up the last leaf. She managed to ignore the truck until, oh my goodness, look at that. Splat! Look at that pumpkin fell. And can you see what came out of that pumpkin? I see some orange things. Oh, I see some pumpkin seeds. Look at this. Look at her. Oh my goodness. Splat! An enormous pumpkin tumbled off the truck and smashed into slimy orange smithereens all over the edge of her yard. Come back here and get this pumpkin, she yelled. But the driver sped away. I love her expression. Here she is. Let's see what's happening now. Well, I won't touch it. Here she goes. She's got her shovel. Where is she going? There's the road, and there's the splattered pumpkin. And look what she's doing. She's got her shovel. What is she up to? Well, I won't touch it, Rebecca Estelle insisted, getting her shovel from the barn. And I won't look at it, she added as she shoveled dirt on top of the pumpkin pieces. I won't think about that pumpkin ever again, she declared. And she didn't. That is until, oh boy, until spring. What happened in the spring? There she is, getting ready to plant her garden, but the front yard, look what is growing. Does anybody recognize that plant? You guessed it, that's the pumpkin plant. Those seeds that fell, they sprouted and grown. She has pumpkins growing in her front yard. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was spring when Rebecca Estelle was admiring the new sprouts in her garden. She noticed Esmeralda, her cat, playing in some green leaves growing at the edge of the yard. How curious, she said, going over to inspect them. I didn't plant anything there. Then Rebecca Estelle remembered the pumpkin truck and the slimy pumpkin smithereens. Pumpkin, she cried in disgust. Come out of there, Esmeralda, I will not water those plants. I will not tend them. I will ignore them and they will die. She picked up Esmeralda and stomped inside. But a week later, when Rebecca Estelle peered out her window, she saw that the vines had grown. Oh, look at her now. She's going crazy. She tramped to the barn, got her garden tools, and went to work on the pumpkin vines. She cut and dug until not one was left growing. But the next week, when she was weeding the garden, she noticed that the pumpkin vines had grown back. Rebecca Estelle marched inside and snapped the curtains shut. "The only thing to do is ignore them. They won't grow if I don't take care of them," she muttered. So rain or shine, all spring and summer, she never looked out the front window. She used only the back door and never even glanced toward the vines. Neither did Esmeralda. There she is in her house gardening. Look at all the garden things she's bringing in. She looks happy. So she's not looking out her front window where the pumpkin seeds were splattered. So let's see if we see anything going on. Well, there's her back door. Let's see, this looks like her shed. So, I can't remember. Maybe this is all the backyard. Let's find out. Rebecca Estelle ignored the vines so well that in time she forgot why she wasn't using the front door until Esmeralda went to rake the leaves that fell each fall from the black walnut tree in the front of her house. Oh, that's right. She's going to the front yard. She looks happy. What do you predict is going to be out there?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins? You want to come be with me?
Yeah.
Here, come sit over here with me.
No.
Yes. Okay, that's my son Noah. Oh my gosh. Could you look at all those pumpkins? How many are there? Oh my gosh, I estimate 50. Should we count? Here, you do an estimation. What do you think, Noah? Do a quick estimation. No counting, just a guess. And let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I predict 50. What do you predict?
75.
75. Okay. Let's count them really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. 57 pumpkins! We were both really close, weren't we? Look at all those pumpkins. Pumpkins, Rebecca Estelle shrieked. Pumpkin vines had twined under the bushes, over the bird bath, through the porch rails, and onto the rocking chair. The entire yard was a sea of plump, round pumpkins. Rebecca Estelle, I would too. Rebecca Estelle could no longer ignore them. She plopped down on the pumpkin nearest her, putting her hands over her face. "Whatever will I do, Esmeralda? How will I get rid of this many pumpkins?" And you have any ideas what we could do with those pumpkins?
I know.
What?
Make them into pumpkin pie and sell them.
Oh, sell pumpkin pies? That's a great idea. I wish we could do that. We only got very small little pumpkins. I'll show you a picture of them at the end. Well, here she is. Let's see, what's she doing? She's getting them in the wheelbarrow. They look awfully heavy. And what is she going to do with them all? Let's find out. Oh my goodness. Well, we can't let them stay here, she told Esmeralda. Some people might need these pumpkins, and I suppose there are folks crazy enough to like them. We'll give them away. She marched off to get her wheelbarrow. Rebecca Estelle struggled to lift the first pumpkin, then the second and the third. She huffed and she puffed and she wheeled the loaded wheelbarrow onto the lane. "I'm too tired to deliver these heavy pumpkins now," Rebecca Estelle grumbled. She mopped her brow with her apron and wondered what to do next. "Perhaps I'll make them into pies. They'll be easier to deliver." Oh, you were right, Noah. She's going to make pies. Oh, here's some of the ingredients. First, you have to get the seeds out, and then this is the part of the pumpkin that you use, and you have to boil it. There she is in her kitchen.
I would love pumpkin pie every day.
Oh, me too. I love pumpkin pie. We'll make one really soon. So she went to work. She scooped the slimy seeds out of the pumpkins and cut away the shells. After she boiled the pumpkin meat, she mixed it with eggs, milk, sugar, flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves to make rich pies. Then Rebecca Estelle made pumpkin tarts, muffins, cakes, pumpkin bread, pumpkin pudding, pumpkin cookies, until, oh my gosh, look at her house. Do you know what this is a stack of? Does anyone have a guess? It's the pumpkin seeds. She has that many. And look at all the yummy things she's made. Her whole house is covered. Pumpkin dishes spilled out of every cupboard, drawer, and cubbyhole, and the seeds were a mountain in the corner. Well, that's the first batch, Rebecca Estelle said, dusting her floury hands. Now I have to deliver them. She put the wheelbarrow outside the kitchen door, then loaded it with pumpkin treats. When it was full, just the thought of delivering all those pumpkin dishes made Rebecca Estelle tired. If only people would come over and get them, she said. Then she had another idea. Rebecca Estelle whirled around and hurried back into the house for a kitchen knife. This should get people to come, Rebecca Estelle cried. So how do you think she gets them to come?
With a sign.
A sign? Noah thinks a sign. It's kind of a sign. She's making jack-o'-lanterns. There she is. Oh, she's decorating her house a little bit. She took her knife and sat in the middle of the pumpkin patch. She carved a smiley face on a nice round pumpkin, a scary snaggletooth face on a tall thin pumpkin, and Boo on a short squat pumpkin. She was so busy carving pumpkins, she hardly noticed how dark it was getting. When she could no longer see, she went to the shelf on the back porch and got the sack of candles she kept for emergencies. If this doesn't get people to come here, we'll have to deliver them all ourselves, she muttered to Esmeralda. There she is. Oh, look at that. Look at all the pumpkins she carved. Which face do you like? This will give you some ideas if you haven't carved your pumpkins yet. I can't wait. All right. Oh, look at this picture. Wow, look at that. Rebecca Estelle peered into the darkness for a long time. She didn't see anything. Still, she watched until finally she saw a light. Faint at first, then brighter and more lights bobbing through the night. Here they come, she shouted. Esmeralda, let's heat some apple cider. Now, do you see them coming? Can you see the bright lights in the top corner of the page? They're coming. This is the road. It's kind of hard to see right there. They're coming. They can see her jack-o'-lanterns, and they want to get in on the fun. Look at all of her neighbors and friends. What a nice community. Here she is, handing one to someone to take home. Young and old, everyone in town came. Rebecca Estelle, we thought you hated pumpkins, they said. We saw your jack-o'-lanterns from the end of the road and came for a closer look. I was hoping you would, said Rebecca Estelle. Where did you ever find all these pumpkins? People asked. I came by them quite by accident, Rebecca Estelle said, smiling. Would you like some pumpkin pie? There's plenty. She winked at Esmeralda. Everyone enjoyed the pumpkin pie and cider and had a good time. So did Rebecca Estelle, and when they were ready to go home, she made sure each carried a jack-o'-lantern, a bag of seeds for roasting, and a pumpkin treat. Rebecca Estelle gave away everything that reminded her of the pumpkins she always had hated. Do you feel like she might hate pumpkins still? I wonder if now she has a different feeling about pumpkins. It brought her a lot of happiness to give. Let's find out. She had always hated those pumpkins until all that remained was a handful of seeds. Those she tucked snugly into her pocket, where they would be safe until planting time next spring. Oh, so she's going to plant those seeds and do it all over again, I think. I think she really enjoyed those pumpkins. All right, I think we'll try to do one more book. This one is called Paddys Pumpkin Patch. Here's Paddie. And this is written and illustrated by Terry Sloat. Thanks to G.P. Putnam and Sons publisher for allowing me to read this. Here we go. This has a lot of alphabets in it. Must be, what time of year? It's not fall. I can tell it's not fall by the beautiful flowers and the green trees and the clear fields. It's spring, that's right. Come look inside my patch and see a world from A to Z. You see the alphabet down here? So A is for ant, B is for beetle. We'll watch that to learn our letters. The frost is gone, spring is here. Put the tractor into gear, plow the field of weeds and grass. It's pumpkin planting time at last. C is for crow, D is for dragonfly. Dig the holes and plant the seeds. Keep them watered and pull the weeds. Seeds grow roots and roots take hold. Stems pop up and leaves unfold. E is for earthworm, that's the uppercase and the lowercase. You'll learn about that as you go, the capital letter and the small. F is for fly. Pumpkin vines fill each row, leaves are high and blossoms grow. G is for grasshopper and H is for hummingbird. Beneath the blossoms, pumpkins form, growing fast while it's still warm. Weeds grow fast day by day. Stop the weeds by spreading hay. K is for kitten, L is for ladybug. Watch the pumpkins grow till fall, orange and ripe, cut them all. M is for moth, N is for nuthatch, it's a type of bird. Decorate the pumpkin stand. Paint a sign bright and new by hand. Make some scarecrows out of hay. Pumpkin selling starts today. O is for owl and P is for pheasant. Sounds like an F, doesn't it? But it's a P. The patch is busy when it's light, daytime. Q is for quail, these little birds. The patch is busy in the night. Who's in the night? The raccoons are getting some grubs, some little worms. Help your buyers pick and choose the size and shape just right to use. Big or small or in between, soon it will be Halloween. S is for snail, T is for toad. Have some pumpkin carving fun, pumpkin grinning when you're done. U is for underwing moth and V is for vixen. That's a female fox. Let your jack-o'-lanterns greet spooky friends who trick or treat. W is for wren and X is for xylem. I'm not sure what xylem is. Now that Halloween is past, it's time to close the pumpkin patch. Y is for yellow jacket. Z is for zebra butterfly. Oh, look at that. That's the biggest one. The weather's changing, time to find the biggest pumpkin left behind. Scoop out all the seeds to dry, storing away your spring supply. Spring supply of seeds. Oil and salt and roast the rest. Share them with your winter guests. There, she left some for her little squirrel friends. Paddys Pumpkin Patch. I love that story. I wish I could grow a giant pumpkin patch. I'm going to show you a couple things. We talked about the life cycle of a pumpkin, and here's a picture that shows. So in the fall, when you harvest your pumpkin and you save those seeds, you can plant them in the spring, and here they sprout up, and then they get bigger and they grow a vine, and then the flower turns into the pumpkin, and the pumpkin ripens. And with this pumpkin, it happens all over again. So a cycle goes in a circle, like a bicycle cycle. I have a fun little craft you can do with me. I have copies of this at the library, and you'll get one that looks like this, and then I'll give you a piece of black paper, and your job is to color pumpkins and put some faces on. I took a white colored pencil and made it nighttime with a moon and stars, and then I put my name at the bottom. And there's a little rhyme you get to say with this that I think is kind of fun. So I hope you'll say this with someone at your house. You can see the words right there. It goes like this. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There's a chill in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "We're ready for some fun." The fifth one said, "Let's run, run, run." And whoosh went the wind, and out went the lights, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Some people do it like this: 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There's a chill in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "Let's run, run, run." And whoosh went the wind, and out went the lights, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. So come by the library, pick that up. I would love to see you and hear what you like the best from the story time. So please come see us at the library. We are now open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. And call us with any questions. We're happy to help find books for you. And we all miss you so much. So please come visit us at the library and have a great time with your pumpkins. Bye-bye. All right, I'm glad you kept watching. I wanted to show you 2 pumpkins from my garden. They're on that long vine. I wanted to show you how long that was. Here's one of them. And I wanted to show you this end of the flower. Do you see? That's where the flower was that turned into the pumpkin. There's the long vine, and we've got some old dried up leaves on there as well. I just cut this today. Then we've got some tendrils. Those are usually green, and they usually grow around other items in the garden to kind of stabilize the vines so they don't blow around. Now I've got my gardening shears, and I'm just going to cut off some of this vine. And you can see that the stem there that connects to the pumpkin looks kind of a brown, but as it gets older, it'll get darker. That's kind of how they look when you buy them in the store. I left a lot on here because I like the look of all those crazy vines and tendrils. Then I've got one more over here. Now you can really see how that pumpkin looks different than others. These are called Cinderella pumpkins, and they're a little bit different species than a regular pumpkin you'd buy in the grocery store. I like these because they get really deep red. I didn't have time to let these ripen on the vine because I wanted to take them off the vine to show you guys. Plus it's going to start freezing soon. So here's my second little Cinderella pumpkin. Looks like I need to sharpen those shears a little bit. Hits me a couple of times. So you'll see it's such a beautiful orange color, and I love my 2 little Cinderella pumpkins. They almost look like tomatoes, don't they? Yeah. If you want to grow these, you can come see me and I'll get you some seeds. So then I wanted to show you my other pumpkin. Now this one's just a regular pumpkin. It would look like the kind you would buy in the store if it got to be mature, but it's looking pretty small. Here's a flower. Remember, the flowers turn into the little green pumpkins, and we saw that on the end of the other little flower, or the pumpkin earlier, didn't we? Then look at this beautiful vine with the big green leaves, and you'll see, think of it like a straw. And so we're coming in a little closer on another flower, just to show you so many flowers on this vine. If I had more fertilizer or perhaps hotter weather, we would have seen more pumpkins. This reminds me of a funnel. This is the leaf, and imagine it like a funnel, and the water collects at the top of the funnel, and then it goes down the outside of this little stem, and it brings the water down to the bottom where the soil is. And the water can go into the earth and feed that straw. Here again is the little end of the flower where the pumpkin grew. Isn't that amazing? So this little guy will get a little bit bigger, but pretty soon it'll freeze. And here are my 3 little pumpkins. The 3 on top are from my garden, and the one on the bottom I bought at the store so you could see by comparison. Looks a little different. Mojo, Mojo. And here's Mojo. He says, see you next week. Thanks for listening.